Hello students, today we are going to study about motion. This is the chapter number 8, unit number 3 of the book of biology production. So what is motion? We can define the motion. Motion is the movement of object from one reference point to another reference point, the destination. Means here we used reference point and another reference point. So what it means? Suppose here this is a point, this is the initial point. The object is in rest here, and after some time object moves get here. This is final position. And time gap is equal to delta t. So motion is the movement of an object from one reference point to another reference point. So if our body moves from one point to another point, this is called motion. What is distance? Distance can be described as the measure of separation gap between the two reference points. Means there are 2 points, initial point and final points. The gap between them is called distance. The actual path of the motion is also called distance. And other thing is displacement. So what is displacement? If our object is moved from one place to another place and then return to initial point, so distance is the length of the path and displacement is the original distance between original and final position. If the body comes to initial position, so displacement is 0. So what is displacement? It can be defined as the shortest distance measured from the initial to the final position and object. Now pause the video, take a screenshot and note it down. Scalar quantities and vector quantities. What are these? Scalar quantities. In which quantities which just have their magnitude, not direction, and vector quantities which have magnitude and vector. Example of definition: those physical quantity which are described by specifying only their numerical values is that magnitude or called scalar quantities. Example: speed. Speed no require directions. Speed. Distance. Length. etc. Vector quantities which requires magnitude as well as direction. Force is a vector quantity. Gravitation. Velocity. Displacement. Now note down this. After the motion, there are 2 types of motion: uniform motion and non-uniform motion. So what is uniform? Means here we talk about motion. Motion is if one object is moved from one position to final position, that called a motion. So uniform motion, when the gap between the 2 points, suppose this is length L and time difference T. So in uniform motion, slope is equal to distance upon time. This can be described as delta L upon delta T is constant. Equal distance in equal intervals of time, then such motion is called uniform motion. So slope is equal to constant. And non-uniform motion, when an object or body covers unequal distance in equal intervals of time or vice versa, then this motion is called non-uniform, means slope is not constant. We will use these terms on graphical method. Now wrote down this.
Ready.
Here we talk about speed and velocity. Speed is a scalar quantity, velocity is a vector quantity. Means speed just have their magnitude and velocity had their magnitude as well as directions. So what is speed? Speed can be defined as the rate of change of video edit in a unit time. Speed can be defined as the rate of covering the distance in a unit time. Means unit time. The unit of time is second, hour, minutes. And distance, length, meter. So speed, total distance upon total time. Distance upon time. And unit of speed is equal to meter per second or kilometer per hour. Talk about average velocity. Suppose we have an object which is covering several distance in several times. This distance T L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, L6 respectively. Time taken by this object in several distance is T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6. Total distance covered by object is equal to L1 plus L2 plus L3, L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus L4 plus L5 plus L6. Total time. T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus T4 plus T5 plus T6. According to speed, distance upon time. So average velocity is equal to total distance upon total time. Velocity. Earlier we talked about speed. Now we talk about velocity. What is velocity? Velocity, total displacement. Velocity is equal to total displacement upon total time. It can be described as velocity is defined as the distance covered by a moving object in a particular direction in unit time. In previous definition, speed is defined as the distance covered by a moving object in unit time, and here in a particular direction. So this is the difference between velocity and the speed. It requires direction as well as magnitude. So this is the formula, this is the definition, and unit is same. Meter per second or kilometer per hour. Same here, average velocity. So average velocity is the displacement, total displacement upon time. Time taken. Now write down this. Acceleration, rate of change of velocity. So what is acceleration? Previously we talked about speed and velocity. So what is speed? The rate of change of distance with respect to time, and here change of velocity with respect to time. This is called acceleration. The rate of change of velocity with respect to time is called acceleration. So rate of change of velocity, suppose we have an object which is moving with initial velocity is equal to u and final velocity moving with initial velocity u, and after some time object reached at position so the final velocity is equal to v after some time. Object resets its final positions. So acceleration is equal to, or it can be defined represented by a. The final velocity v, and acceleration is defined acceleration is represented by a. So a is equal to v minus u upon t. This is also a slope which we talk on graphical method. Properties of acceleration. So we know that velocity is a vector quantity and acceleration is also a vector quantity. First property, it is also a vector quantity. Second, acceleration can be positive or negative or zero. So condition, acceleration a is greater than 0, positive. इसकी condition. Second, third, a less than 0 means negative. Fourth, a is equal to 0, 0. So here, if the slope is positive, so acceleration is positive, and slope is equal to v minus u upon t. If the body increase its velocity, means acceleration is positive. A less than 0, negative, means slope is equal to negative, means v minus u upon t is negative, bracket में negative, means the initial velocity is greater than final velocity. Means if one car is moving and we applied a brake, so the velocity speed is decreasing, means initial velocity is greater than final velocity. Acceleration 0 means slope is equal to 0, means v is equal to u. Here V is greater than U, U is greater than V, and here V is equal to U. Write down this. This is the property of acceleration. Graphical method of describing motion. So we already know about motion. What is motion? If one body is moved from one position to final position, this is called motion. So representation of motion on a graphical. So here, so in motion, we have two axes. First is distance, and second one is time. So we take time and distance on graph. This is time. In seconds. This is distance in meter. We already talked about uniform motion and non-uniform motion. So I told you previously the slope is constant. So what is the slope? Distance upon time. Slope. One axis upon second axis. So one axis is distance, second one is time, and this is equal to velocity or speed. For distance, time, graph. Here, distance, time, graph. So slope, this line represents the slope. If suppose we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So here. Here, the slope is constant. So this is representing uniform motion. The time distance gap. This is distance gap. This one, this one also 1, this one also 1, this one also, and time gap 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. This is constant. So this is uniform motion. If suppose this graph will be like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This in this graph, the time distance and time gap is not constant, means non-uniform acceleration. This is distance time graph. Write down this. Now we have to determine of the speed by using distance time graph. So first, how to create distance time graph? In the question we give some conditions like this. Here we got 30, this is 15, this is T1, this is S1. This is 25, this is T2, this is S2, and this is 50 in meters. This is distance. Upward, time horizontally. So how to determine speed? By using this. So formula for speed is equal to distance traveled by an object upon time taken. So here, distance traveled. How much distance traveled? S2 minus S1 is equal to S2 minus S1, and time taken is equal to T2 minus T1. This is our speed. Here, to find out A, B, C. This is first point on graph, or it can be given like that: distance, time. Distance is 30. Distance is 30, time is 15. Distance is 50, time is 25. Okay. So first we make this graph like this. Then this is the line. Which points are given? A. This point is A. This point is B. This point is A. This point is B. Now we form a parallel line to vertical axis. Distance, this one. This is S1 minus S2, and horizontal. We form this line, and this is T1 and this is T2. So we take the difference BC. Here slope is equal to BC upon AC. This line is BC and this line is AC. So BC is equal to S2 minus S1, and AC is equal to, this is T2, this is T1. Difference of both are AC. T2 minus T1. This is equation 1, this is equation 2, and from equation 1 and 2, the slope of distance, time, graph is equal to velocity. Now wrote down this.